Arrival of the Elohim. Episode 2. The valley is calm, but the air still vibrates faintly with residual energy. Farmers experiment with new crops, their hands trembling as they touch glowing seeds. Villagers attempt to forge iron tools, sparks flying violently as the fire dances unnaturally. A child points to a strange mark in the sky, resembling one of the geometric patterns left by the Elohim. A young warrior tests a sword he forged, slamming it against a stone. The sparks ignite a small, controlled flame. The elders argue. Some fear the knowledge is too dangerous. Others are enthralled by its potential. Animals act strangely. Flocks of birds circle in erratic patterns above the village. A mysterious glow appears on the horizon, faint, hinting at a returning presence. Children play with small hovering orbs of light that flicker in their hands before vanishing. A traveler arrives from a distant village, eyes wide with tales of strange creatures in the forests. Farmers cultivate fields under a golden haze, crops growing faster than nature should allow. Villagers gather around a recently forged plow, amazed at its precision and durability. Blacksmiths hammer away, sparks flying everywhere. A strange storm brews with swirling clouds. The wind sweeps through the valley, carrying whispers of a voice long forgotten. One of the elders kneels before a glowing stone, trying to interpret the runes left by the Elohim. The children notice a vine that moves on its own, curling as if alive. A sudden tremor shakes the village. Pottery and tools fall, clattering in every direction. A young man tests an iron plow in the field, but the earth beneath him pulses violently. The sky flashes briefly with a pattern of stars, mirroring the map the Elohim once displayed. A figure, tall and shimmering faintly, appears briefly on a distant hill, then vanishes. Villagers scream and scatter, unsure if this is a new arrival or a remnant vision. One elder whispers urgently, "The cost of knowledge is already here." A wolf prowls the edge of the forest, eyes glowing unnaturally in the fading light. Farmers harvest their first crops, which seem unnaturally large and luminescent. Apprentice touches molten metal, it shapes tools. Smoke from the forge rises and twists into strange geometric shapes before dissipating. The valley seems to breathe. Shadows lengthen and shorten in patterns that feel deliberate. Villagers gather at the river, noticing fish jumping in erratic, synchronized movements. A sudden gust of wind scatters tools and clothes across the square. People stumble. Kids giggle as glowing orbs swirl around. The blacksmith strikes iron repeatedly, sparks forming miniature constellations in the air. The sky darkens suddenly. Clouds swirl faster, forming a vortex over the distant mountains. Lightning flashes silently across the horizon, illuminating fleeting silhouettes of unknown creatures. A villager finds a strange glowing crystal embedded in the soil. It pulses with life. Elders convene urgently, debating whether to warn the villagers or embrace the gift fully. A massive tree shudders and splits slightly, revealing glowing veins of energy inside its trunk. Children watch, entranced, as a small branch hovers above the ground before snapping back. Farmers irrigate as glowing water patterns emerge. The young warrior patrols the edge of the forest, sensing movement in the shadows. A sudden quake splits the earth in a small section of the valley. Dust rises in spiraling columns. The glowing crystal pulses stronger, sending waves through the villagers' minds. Visions flash briefly. One villager faints from the intensity, while another laughs uncontrollably at a vision of the future. The blacksmith's hammer rises and falls seemingly on its own, shaping perfect tools. A mysterious figure moves quickly through the mist of the forest, unseen but felt by those nearby. A child points at the sky. A golden figure appears briefly, hovering above the mountains. Villagers start leaving offerings near glowing stones, unsure what is sacred or dangerous. The wind howls, carrying whispers and fragmented visions from the past encounter with the Elohim. One elder steps forward. "We are no longer alone in this world." Lightning strikes the distant mountains, forming glowing cracks that stretch like veins across the stone. The crops begin to shimmer faintly under moonlight, moving as if breathing. A child reaches for a hovering orb. It darts away and forms the outline of a winged figure before vanishing. The young warrior trains under the moonlight, swinging his sword sparks form tiny, floating constellations. Smoke from the forge twists upward, forming shapes that seem to mimic humanoid figures. Animals gather in strange patterns like art. A storm gathers at the horizon. Flashes of energy illuminate shadowy figures watching from afar. A glowing crystal pulses again. Villagers gather around in awe, sensing its growing power. A sudden tremor shakes the entire valley, causing dust and debris to rise in spiraling waves. One elder collapses briefly, whispering, "The Elohim's gift carries a price we do not yet know." The valley quiets suddenly. Every creature freezes as a golden light pulses softly across the land. Villagers look to the horizon, unsure whether it is a new arrival or the first sign of something more dangerous. Crops glow faintly under moonlight, forming subtle, moving patterns across the fields. Children follow small lights that flicker like fireflies but move with intent and intelligence. The young warrior feels a strange pull toward the mountains, sword in hand, eyes wide with anticipation. The elders gather in the square, debating whether the next step is to explore or fortify. The forest edges seem alive, with shadows moving unnaturally, hinting at unknown creatures. The river glows faintly. Water seems to flow in patterns that mimic the constellations above. A golden light descends briefly from the sky, illuminating the valley like a spotlight on a stage. The valley's buzzing with energy and excitement, and you can feel change in the air.